Hello again, class. This is chapter 9.9, Transforming Formulas. Transforming formulas means that we are going to take a basic formula and we are going to solve it for a different variable that's in the formula. We basically use the same principles as you use for solving equations. You use inverse operations. You can multiply by the reciprocal of the coefficient. If there's addition in the formula, we're going to use subtraction to solve it, etc. Our first equation, or formula, that we're going to transform is an area formula. Area equals base times height, only we want to solve it for h. In other words, I want it to say h equals something. If we look at the formula, I'm just going to write it down again. If we look at the formula, we want the h. Now, if we look at the right side, we want the h. We need to undo the b. We want h, so we undo the b. Now, b times h is multiply, so we're going to do that inverse, which means to divide. But if we divide one side of the equation by b, we have to divide the other side of the equation by b. Now, b divided by b over on the right side of the equation is the same thing as 2 divided by 2 or 5 divided by 5. They cancel each other into ones. 1 times h is h. Now, I'm going to bring that over to my left side. If I look at what was left after dividing by b, it says area divided by the base. I really can't simplify that any farther than it already is. So to find the height, I'm going to take the area, divide by the base. And I have now solved my equation, or transformed my formula, to solve for h. Let's look at example B. I'm going to solve this one, or transform this one, so I can have L all by itself on the left side. So this says perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. This looks very much like the old-fashioned two-step equation of something like 2n plus 6 equals 12. I have to undo that addition right away. The thing is, if I subtract 2w from the right side, I need to subtract 2w from the left side. Now here's the part that gets a little tricky. I need to move the p farther over to my left and then subtract the 2 times w. On the right side of this formula, 2w minus 2w is 0, so I'm going to be left with 2l. On the right side of this formula, there is no way for me to simplify perimeter minus 2 times w, so I'm going to copy it again. Remember that I want to solve for a single L. I don't want the 2. So, since it's 2 times L, I'm going to divide. If I divide the one side by 2, I need to divide the other side by 2. 2 divided by 2 cancels. I now have my single L, which is what I want. And the truth is that p minus 2w divided by 2, I can't do anything with that to simplify. So I copied the whole thing down. So in order to find the length for a rectangle, I would take the perimeter minus 2 times the width and take that answer and divide by 2. This one is kind of similar to A. I'm going to take the interest formula, PRT, principal times rate times time, and I want to solve for the R. Can you figure out what I'm going to do? I don't need the P, the principal, and I don't need T, the time. You'll notice that all of them are multiplying over here. So I can divide by both of them at the same time. So I'm going to take my interest, I didn't turn out too well, and divide by the pt as well. P divided by P is 1, T divided by T is 1. That leaves me with the R. Take the interest divided by the principal times the time. You hit pause and see if you can do xy equals z. You want to solve for x. Well, how did you do? You don't need the y, so you're going to divide both sides by y. And you can't simplify z divided by y any farther than what I've already written. Let's look at sample E. Okay, this one's a little tougher because I don't need the divide by 2. I also don't need the plus u. With these types, you usually start with the multiply. And that's a little different than we do with some formulas. But because we have a divide by 2, we have a whole quantity, u plus v divided by 2, I'm going to need to multiply there. So I'm going to have u plus v divided by 2. I'm going to multiply that by 2. If I multiply that side by 2, I have to multiply the other side by 2. This 2 and this 2 on the right side actually cancel each other. Now if you want, you can bring that u plus v over to the left side and switch it right away if you'd like. Now, I don't want the u, but this says that it's been added. U plus v is the same thing as v plus u. So I'm going to take u plus v divided by u, and if I subtract u on the left side, I have to also subtract a u on the right side. U minus u gives me 0 and leaves me with the v. I cannot simplify this right side any farther, so I copy it down. 2t minus u. Sample E is a bit, F, excuse me. Example F is a little bit like example B, but it looks a little bit more familiar like an equation. Now, I have some students who say, you know what, Ms. Scouten, I'm just going to rewrite it this way. And that's perfectly all right. Go ahead and do that, if that's what helps you. Now you know what to do. Add 5 to both sides. I'll have 2c equals a plus 5. I divide both sides by 2. 2 cancels out the 2. I cannot simplify the right-hand side any farther than to use a plus 5 divided by 2. Example G is actually the volume for a sphere. Now, these formulas that involve a fraction are trickier. My advice is to take care of the fraction last. It just goes better if you take the extra time and take care of that fraction last. In this case, we are going to undo the r cubed first. Now, if you want, you can rewrite this too as 4/3 pi r cubed on the left side equals v. You certainly may do that if you like that better. I don't want this r cubed. Notice I want pi. Well, I need to undo that. So I can divide both sides by r cubed. This r cubed cancels out that r cubed. Now, if you like, go ahead and rewrite it at this point, putting that 4/3 pi over on the left side. Now, here's where you take care of that fraction last. we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. If you try to divide both sides by 4/3, you're not going to get a simplified answer. Remember when we had equations like 2/3 n equals 6? We didn't divide both sides by 2/3, we multiplied by the reciprocal of the coefficient. Well, we're going to do that same thing here. We are going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, 3/4. Now, the 4 cancels with the 4, the 3 cancels with the 3. I will be left with pi. Now, this is one of the reasons why I gave you these math minutes all along, because you've had to multiply with fractions practically all year long. To multiply fractions, we take numerator times numerator, 3 times v, over denominator times denominator. And now we have our formula transformed. And that concludes lesson chapter 9.9 on transforming formulas. Catch you next time.